For today's video, we are going to be installing this CSF radiator. Our car has a pretty bad coolant leak. As you can see here right near the upper radiator hose, it is a little bit hard to see, but yeah, it is leaking pretty bad. It might just be the upper radiator hose, but just in case, I want to replace the whole radiator anyway. The sides are made of plastic and those do tend to crack over time and leak badly. So we're going to go ahead and replace the whole entire radiator anyway. And plus, this radiator says it can give a 25 to 30% improvement with coolant, which is definitely really nice. And also the sides are full metal. Now it costs about the same as an OEM, I think even a little cheaper if I'm not mistaken, but let's go ahead and hop right into this install. So with my engine bay, it might be set up a little bit different compared to your N52. We do have an aftermarket stage 2 AFE intake box we're going to have to completely remove, and also remove this carbon fiber strut brace. With the intake box removed, that gives us a lot more space to work with, and also we can actually see the leak now. And as you can see, this upper radiator hose is actually leaking really badly. So we're replacing this and the radiator. Now we're going to go ahead and go underneath the car to drain all the coolant out. The first step to actually drain the coolant out is actually getting to the plug. First, you have to actually remove this bottom skid plate. There's a couple 8mm bolts all around. They're pretty easy to remove, and then this whole thing should come out. And like most BMWs, half of mine are already missing. Now, once this under tray is removed, you do have a second tray right here, and you're gonna have a bolt right here and another 8mm bolt right here. With those two bolts removed, these brackets should come out, and now you finally have access to your coolant drain plug. Now all you want to do is take like a quarter in the pliers and go ahead and twist this to the left, get something to drain it out into, and then your coolant should be drained. Now when it comes to actually draining the coolant, make sure you actually remove your cap so it does drain out a little bit quicker. Now the first step to physically removing the radiator is removing the fan. And we're going to start with actually removing this electrical connector on the side. You have a squeeze tab right here, and one on the other side that's a little bit hard to get if you have some bigger hands, but you want to squeeze on both sides and then simply pull this out. Now on the left side of the radiator, we do have a T25 screw right here that we need to go ahead and remove. Now coming back underneath the car, if you do have an automatic, you're going to have a trans cooler actually attached to the fan. Another T25 right here. You need to go ahead and remove. While we're down here on the bottom left side, you do have another T25 screw right here to remove this lower radiator hose. Next, we're going to actually take off this little hose right here by unclipping it, and then there's a little tab on the side right here. We're going to go ahead and pull this up and pull the whole entire radiator out. One thing I do want to say is be really careful when you're removing the fan, because I did actually rip this upper hose, but hopefully I should just be able to tape this up until I can order a new one soon. Luckily, it's at the top so I can install everything, and then removing this is right at the top, so it shouldn't be too hard. Next, we're going to remove this upper radiator hose. So the first part of that is actually sitting there and taking off this retention clip right here, and then we're going to also take off the one right here. And then there should be a third one actually on the bottom right here. Come on. Don't want to pull it all the way off. There we go. And then to remove this clamp right here, you actually want to take a screwdriver and get in on this side. But then after all that's done, this hose should be able to come right off. Next, we're going to remove this lower radiator hose. You have a little retaining clip. Let's go ahead and pull this out, and then the whole entire hose should just slowly wiggle out. It took a while, but if you just keep pulling, it will eventually come out. And also make sure you have your catch can right below as well for when it all comes out. Now they're under the lower radiator hose. There is one more hose underneath we need to remove, and it's actually easier to remove it from the bottom. So you want to come underneath your car, and then there's actually a clip. It's kind of hard to film. There's a clip on the bottom kind of facing towards the front bumper. Very weird, but you pull on that with a screwdriver and then this hose should come out. And then the last hose we have is actually the hose we actually took that screw from the bottom out earlier. That one just pulls right out. Now when it comes to screws, we have a T25 in this top left corner, and we also have another one in the top right. Now our whole entire radiator should be able to come out. With the radiator fully out of the car, now you can see the bigger difference. There's no plastic sides, and the quality just looks a lot better, and I'm pretty sure the overall core is thicker as well. But yeah, that is definitely a huge difference. Time to go ahead and get this new radiator in. All right guys, the new CSF radiator should slide right in perfectly. And now I know they said it does tighten up some of the OEM tolerances because it is a little bit thicker, but I didn't have any issues. It slid right in. All we gotta do is put those screws back in and tighten everything up. So guys, I've had this radiator for a couple weeks now, and I have to say it has actually made a pretty big difference. Now the website does claim like 25 to 30% difference in coolant. I haven't really noticed that big of a difference, but there is a difference. And the reason I'm doing this is because I actually plan on tracking this car and also turning it into a drift car. So I definitely wanted to increase the coolant. And actually what I really plan on doing next, that would actually help a whole lot, is actually adding an oil cooler to the car. But let's focus on the CSF radiator for a second. So I will say it is effective, and honestly, if you guys are looking for a big coolant improvement for your N52, this is definitely a good route to go, and also an oil cooler as well. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about my exhaust setup since my last video when I did catless headers. And currently right now, I'm fully straight piped with Active AutoWorks headers, but I did add a performance radiator, and I think it made the whole entire car sound a lot better. It really does sound a lot better. It is still pretty loud for a daily though. I will say that, like for a daily, this thing is pretty loud. So I might even add a muffler. I'm not sure. But the whole plan for this car is to actually turn it into more of a drift build that I can still daily. So I already bought an LSD for the car. I do want to manual swap it because it is an auto, and even though this car can't drift with the auto, it really likes to upshift a lot, and it makes it a lot harder. And after seeing how easily my friend can drive his 6-speed 328i, I know that this thing pretty much needs to be manual swapped. So yeah, manual swap, LSD, and an oil cooler, and this thing should be ready to go drifting at the track. So definitely stay tuned for that, guys. I also have some more cosmetic stuff coming for the car. I have a new set of wheels coming. Actually, they already arrived. I just need to put them on. And I also have a carbon fiber hood coming, and that should look insane. But let me know what type of videos you guys want to see. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you really care, please hit that beautiful subscribe button. Peace, guys.